I think oftentimes when people hear me and see me, they think that I'm a fool. They think that somehow or another I've lost my mind, that I'm not down with the in crowd. They've said that nobody would love me and that I'm an outcast. But let me say this here now. We can be clear about anything. Please let me be clear about this. And I pray that it's received and understood. I don't want to be one of you. I don't want to be one of you weak men, weak people.
For my brother,
I'd rather die. Death is welcome rather than to call myself you spineless black men.
Side high, I ain't your traditional. Rapper smoking medicinal, stayed in detention. Life is all about principles, cynical ass niggas. Sorry that I offended you. I bring something different while niggas sounding identical. I'd rather drown in a swimming pool than to let you imbecile stop me from topping my pinnacle. Try me blocked by the genitals. Trust me, it's not intentional. It's the difference between a gangster and a criminal. Cause real gangsters can't do Breakfast Club interviews. A lot of you niggas don't own a business suit. A slave for every pair of Michael Jordan tennis shoe. But anywho, got your bitch walking around like she winning pool with no bottoms on, just the top of her swimming suit. What you gon' say when the niggas gon' try to get at you? Them in what army, or you just talking in general? Cause in the end, we all gon' die like them Seminoles, nigga. These niggas weak. I'm fucking up, these niggas weak. These niggas weak. I'm fucking up, these niggas weak.
I look at the sorry state of black men in America today. The destruction of the family, the loss of integrity. When as a young boy, black shot down every day for years without stopping, when I look at what we are as black people, I'd rather be dead than to continue to live against such.
Y'all ain't trying to start a revolution. Y'all looking for a restitution. Niggas kill each other every day and ain't no evolution. My partner shot 100 niggas and it was never proven. We just labeled him a gangster and kept it moving. Let me give you the same outcome, separate shooting. A white man kill a black, we holler persecution. So instead of looting, it's time to find some better schooling. You can act like y'all don't understand when I'm elocuting. Did I stutter? I was never Reuben. Y'all ain't no Black Panthers. You wasn't there with Newton. You ain't Martin Martin. Try to better humans. Instead of all these rappers, we need some better students. It's time to rebuild the neighborhoods that we helped to ruin. And the NAACP, y'all need some help recruiting. Fuck a resolution, let's get some retribution. I feel like Malcolm X when he left the movement. These niggas weak. I'm fucking up, these niggas weak. These niggas weak. I'm fucking up, these niggas weak. Yeah. Y'all know what it is, yeah, I said it, nigga. All you niggas laying up with these bitches with no condoms and shit. Having mistake babies and shit, leaving these women to motherfucking raise your kids by their motherfucking self. Yeah, my nigga, I said it. You don't like what's going on in the motherfucking America, leave this motherfucker. When they said we were free, my nigga, that mean we were free to go back where the fuck we came from, my nigga. Yeah, a whole motherfucking continent that belong to us, nigga. It's called Africa, motherfucker. What the fuck is y'all talking about? Y'all ain't trying to start no revolution. Y'all motherfuckers spent 10 bands on the motherfucking section in the motherfucking club. 10 bands to build a whole motherfucking neighborhood in Nigeria, nigga. Get the fuck out of here.
ETM Hotel, Rennie Sean, welcome in peace. My name is Sean. I'd like to thank everybody for tuning into the Kofi Pieside TV. It's your boy. I'm back at it again. As you can see from the title of the show, this is the smoke session, and this is part 2. So, you know, if there's a part 2, there has to be a reason that I'm doing a part 2. has to be a reason why I'm doing part 2, man. And I'm not going to go on a long tangent, but I do have a lot of information that I'm going to share but not get into, because I want to insert something into the discussion and to let you know where I'm coming from, because upon further review, right, because there's always further review, something slick was said to me. And I feel like when you try to son me or little boy me, then I'm gonna turn up a notch. You know what I'm saying? Instead of respecting the fact that I do have the proper mechanics to criticize your art, your article, and things of that nature, and scrutinize your work because I know how to do such, you want to demean me and then try to disqualify my critique. And at the same time, you want to disrespect the crew. So I'm gonna get into all of that, man. But I do need a favor from a lot of y'all. I need y'all to like the show, share the show, tell a friend. We're live. Those of you who will catch the replay, it's finna cook. I'm cooking. And I'm multitasking because it seems like I'm the only supervisor here today. So if you hear me kind of stop or break my bill and you hear some typing in the background, it's only going to be for a little while. Hopefully over soon for a lot of that, but we're going to get into this information. So with that being said, man, let me bring everybody up to speed. So yesterday I did a critique of Brother Reggie's article that he had published in the Journal of Pan-African, what's the name of this damn thing? The Journal of Pan-African Studies, which is an Africology site. As far as it being credentialed or anything like that, they do have a format for submitting stuff. It doesn't require you to join or be a part of the studies. They will allow you to be a guest editor if you want to be, but anyone can make submissions to this Pan-African Studies. Now, it has been propagated that this journal, right, this Pan-African journal is supposed to be prestigious, and it is supposed to be on a level of being able to not only infiltrate academia, but insert what some would say authority on the subject matter. So I did the critique. If you haven't watched it, you may want to watch it. I left the last 6 pages out for a reason. I can get into the last 6 pages. I'm prepared to actually do that. But I don't want to I don't want to really touch on too many of the other things. Now, I want to insert this into the discussion. After the critique, there was some feedback, and you can expect feedback. And the feedback came not immediately, but it came a few hours ago. And Brother Reggie was not happy. He was not happy at all. I don't know how much he saw, but he took some shots. And he's gonna learn that I ain't the motherfucking person to be taking shots at. So excuse me, children, and those of you who will catch the replay who may have kids in the building. I apologize for my language. I'm gonna try to do a better job of that today to make sure that I still can edify myself properly without using foul language. And that's the ultimate goal for today. But he got the right one. So with that said, I do see that we had a couple of people in the building. Please like the show, share the show, tell a friend, tell a friend. Here's how we got to part 2 of Reggie's critique. Yeah, he took shots. You just didn't know that he took shots. So, Reggie a message 6 hours ago, and the message says this: if you want to properly critique my work, write an article and get it in a peer-reviewed journal. At this point, I don't understand what you do not agree with. I sent my article to the journal. There may have been some grammatical mistakes, not edited. However, there is nothing that you and this channel has said to impeach my work. When one of your pseudos get accepted in a journal article, let me know. I'll read it. Until then, you are not relevant. So, let me hide these messages. Let me make this bigger. Let me zoom in. And let me put Reggie on the screen. This is Reggie's comments to me 6 hours ago. I'm going to read it one more time. I know y'all can see it for yourselves. If you can't see it for yourselves, go ahead and change your settings over on your cell phone and let's see what it is. So again, Reggie says, if you want to properly critique, hold on. He's talking to me. If I want to properly critique his work, I need to write an article and get it peer reviewed. He said that to me as if that's a challenge for me to do. He said write an article and get it in a peer reviewed journal as if that is difficult for me to do. Now, ladies and gentlemen, those of you that are in here right now, and maybe some of you who will catch the replay, if you don't know, I've been writing since I came into the community. I have a ton of articles that I actually can submit in the journal. All I got to do is rewrite some of them things and I can I can fly 50 of them. I can throw 50 of them at them. Not no one article in no 30 years since I've been in the community. I can throw 50 at them. On top of that, I got published books. So writing is not a challenge for me. Submitting it is not a challenge for me. Your very first sentence ain't even moved me because you can't tell me how to properly critique your work. I know how to really go at your work if I want to be a dirt devil. And I tried not to do that to you yesterday. And I try not to treat you like I do all the other people when I am going over their works and really hammering down on errors and stuff like that. But I let you speak for yourself, and then I just went ahead and went over your work. And you told us yesterday that you didn't have no errors. Your stuff was edited by professionals and published on a peer-reviewed journal, on a peer-reviewed website. It was peer-reviewed by professionals, by scholars. And then here it is. I have you admitting 6 hours ago that it may have had some grammatical mistakes. You remember you was taking shots at the Simsu Hebrew research team saying that they had so many errors in their works and ain't nobody paying attention to their publications. You did all that high side, homie. You was doing, as they say, and I got this from Brother Smash because this is something that they really always do, and Carlos from 85 South Boys. You had hella claims over there, bro, about how tight your work was. You was making hella noise. You inserted yourself into another discussion that didn't have shit to do with you, and they was talking to you about a whole nother topic, and then you wanted to run your goddamn mouth, bro. So you say, at this point, I don't understand what you do not agree with. I told you that I don't agree with the people calling themselves the black cattle or the black bull or the black people or none of that stuff. I don't agree with your translation that you come to that conclusion that Kemet means the black people. I don't get that. What do you mean you don't understand what I don't agree with, bro? I told you in the damn thing. How did you come to that conclusion? I asked you that on the panel. How did you come to that conclusion? In the back of Garfield's Range Rover, how did you come to that conclusion? This is years later, and I still don't understand. How did you come to that conclusion? You said you sent your article to the journal, and now you agree that there may have been some grammatical mistakes not edited. But you was talking that fly shit, bro. You was talking so fly, reckless. You was just going on and on and on and on until I hopped on the panel, and I was like, wait a minute, we ain't finna do this. You capping, Reggie. And then you says, however, there is nothing that you and this channel has said to impeach my work. You a damn lie. I said your research methodology was flawed. You didn't do no work. I said that. You appealed to authority. I said that. You relied on everybody else and not your own merit. I said that. You hid behind all these other people. I said that. You didn't give us no original research or none of that. I said that. All you did was assert yourself in certain areas of this paper, and you was trying to edify whatever it is your assertions was on other people's translations of text. You didn't even break down any of the meta nature on your own merit. You didn't compare your translations to other translations that was in the text. You did absolutely no linguistic work. You did absolutely no grammatical work here. There's no historical comparative method, none of that. You don't do none of that in here. And you could have got that from your buddy, since you said he's also a linguist. Why you didn't get his comparisons to make your argument? You talk to him every day. You try to assert yourself in discussions with him every day. How the hell you can't get this dude to give you something? Y'all both hate Asar. Why he wouldn't just give it to you? Let's keep it a whole buck. So you said there is nothing you and this channel has said to impeach my work. Then you disrespect us and say, when one of you pseudos, so now we pseudo. I'm the only one talking. I'm the only one critiquing your stuff. Everybody else ain't got nothing to do with this. But you said one of your pseudos. When one of your pseudos get accepted in a journal article, let me know. And you said all that wrong. When one of you put an R at the end, one of your. Which takes me back to page 14 to 15 in your article, where you don't properly cite a source, and I'm smelling what it looks like. I sound like Unc right there. When kind of favor look like a little taint of, yeah, a little bit of that, what you call it, plagiarism. Just a little bit of plagiarism might have been on page 15. Because I don't think you properly cited your source right there. You know, you was doing that hateration on Jawu's rape. You remember that? You remember that? But now it's back on you, buddy. So on page 15 of your article, I do believe, my guy, I do believe that you didn't properly cite your source. Check this. What this check doing in here? Okay. Let me keep this near and dear. Yeah. So you ain't gonna read nothing until we have it published in the same journal you had it published in. You know, the one that you claimed that edited your paper. You know, the one that you claimed that's highly sophisticated, scholastically prestigious all of a damn sudden that don't nobody really know about, that they gotta find, that you thought Garfield was just riding with you, but this the same place that, and he pulled it out, Runoko Rashidi's work, pseudo. He wrote a pseudo article in there. All these other people, like you really didn't even catch it. That's why he said he hated me, because he knew where I was going with when I started challenging where you published your shit. So you said one of your pseudos, brother. All of us got published work, bro. You 30 years, 40 years in the game, bro. How long you been sitting at Dr. Ben, Leonard Jeffries, Dr. Clark's feet, and you ain't published not an article until now? And now you want to say something until last year. And now you want to say something because you finally got something published. And who you got it published with was your buddy. You wrote the name of the people that was publishing your article in your article. If they were independent researchers, how in the hell would you even assert that in your article? You knew that it was getting published at that place, bro. You knew when you was going through and rewriting it and setting it all up and getting it making it proper and trying to clean it up as best as you can. You knew before it was submitted to these people that it was getting published in that journal. That's the most biased bullshit ever. But you try to lie. So I respond. Yeah, I respond. I have books and articles everywhere. Don't get emotional. I can submit articles for months. I ain't these lazy YouTube personalities, bro, Reg. You got some work to do. Don't make me pull out the black and white bulls or the brown and black bulls you didn't mention that existed. I guess that represented biracial or something, huh? LOL. Oh, y'all didn't know? One of the Apis bulls, right? These bulls that he kept talking about, these black bulls, like, you know what I'm saying? Now he had to say the white bull, the brown bull, the Deseret, the red bull, and all of those, because he's there's something that you can go and cite that deals with a text is about those heavenly cows or something like that. We'll get into that in a little bit, because I have a very sourceful and impactful conversation that we're going to have today. Hold on, time out. So let me take a step back to address Anusha's question in the chat, because she seems not to be properly understanding what is going on. First of all, Reggie has methodological flaws in his article. His claim is, and I said this earlier, but I want to make sure that I'm clear. If you don't know his claim is that the word Kim means black, the word Kemet means black people, and the words Kemetic means the sacred black people or the black people. He's claiming that all of these things, the sacred cow or the sacred bull, is a reference for black people. He's doing all of that. But that doesn't matter. His methodology is flawed because he never did the proper research steps in order to get to a conclusion. He argued his conclusion from the onset at the beginning of his paper. And then he did absolutely no work. He hid behind everybody else's. And then two scholars, he challenges their translations on a particular word, Kemetiu, in their translations. And then he tries to insert the black the black bull or some shit, or the black people in that assertion. And that doesn't even come up with that. He did no original work. We don't see his original work. We only see assertions. But I can't go back. What you mean? Okay, so I think you're being funny, but it just sounded a little backwards. First of all, y'all don't know who peer reviewed his article. I just told you earlier that he wrote the name of the people who was publishing his article in his article already. He knew that it was getting published there. There was no peer review process. That wasn't a peer review process. An independent peer review process, you wouldn't even assert that these people were going to review this, or you would make any assertion in regard to or paid homage to this journal at all. You write your journal, you write your article fair and square, you make no mentions of the journal. He knew it was getting published. Then I go on with my second comment. And I'm not looking in the chat, so I'll be all day if I'm looking in the chat. So if you can't keep up, oh well, you're gonna have to go back. Last thing that I'm gonna say is my book, What About SARS-CoV, Sean? We have listened to Vincent and you during that publication. Yeah, and Vincent told you to not listen to him. He told you to follow the science. I say that all the time. God dang it, man. So you have to deal with that on your own merit. I can't keep going backwards. I'm trying to go forward in the conversation. So if you missed it, there's a lot of information on the first thing that you might want to check out that catch you all the way up. And so therefore you'll be able to follow along and then catch up. So after I make my second comment, Reggie begins to proceed, and then he comments. One time here. When he comments, he says, I don't have to go back and forth with you. It's a waste of my time. You simply don't matter in this field or any field. Your assumptions are wrong, and that is all you have. You could not put this video up on any other channel. He's a freaking lie. I put this video up anywhere I want to. Who gonna stop me? Who's going to stop me? Somebody let me know who gonna stop me. I'm waiting. Somebody let me know. Let me know. So I don't have to go back and forth with you, but you are. It's a waste of time, and you did. You simply don't matter in this field. How the fuck can you tell me I don't matter in this field or any field? Who are you to tell me, Reggie, that I don't matter in what field? I might not matter to you because you don't like being critiqued. You don't like being scrutinized, and you have a problem with that. This is similar to other people that got mad at me when I started going behind them and their work. And then they got in their feelings because they like, I ain't supposed to do that. They felt like I wasn't supposed to go behind them and check their work. I don't trust nobody. I don't care who you are. I don't trust you. Once I know that you're trying to get to the truth, and I know your intentions are good and things like that, I can rock with you. When I know that when you can provide me with the tools and methods for me to be able to follow along in the conversations and still learn with you and be able to come up with the same conclusion you did on my own merit, I can rock with you. But the minute that you start trying to be shiesty and hide things and then try to slick your way past us and assert certain things and all of that, I ain't rocking with you. You up to no good. So I respond to Reggie. Reggie, come on, bro. You don't want me to treat your work like the show pseudos do you? Basically, I was trying to say like I do the pseudo shows. So bow out graciously. You didn't do any real work here. You made assertions and you didn't do any work here. You wrote one article in 30 years of being in the community. Now you think your work is solid. Your methodology was flawed. Your conclusion pseudo. You asked for this being disrespectful on the show that wasn't about Kemet, and your argument weak as fuck. And then I added them again. I said, I can put this up on any channel. I don't know why I was typing fast. I can put this up on any channel I choose. I know how to critique your work. I see the errors and poor methodology. He responds, do what you want. Continue with you is a waste of time. You have no credentials and 12 years short from a journal article anywhere. He don't know me. He says I have no credentials. Neither does he. Where are your credentials? We the same people. We independent researchers. The thing about it is, I go further than you because I ain't lazy. Then he says, then I say, sorry, you lying, Reggie. I have several articles written already and can publish anywhere. This is what you need to ask Unc. I've been writing since I came in the community. Don't be the contestant on my summer jam screen. Reggie, your training is from ? Your writing published is Voices of Fire. This lets you know that he don't know much. I got articles when the Armor Rock Squad website page was up. I had an article on the Armor Rock Squad website page. I have articles on Voices of Fire. I got articles on Memoirs of Manitou. I have articles on Kofi's blog. I got articles on Panther's blogs. I got articles submitted somewhere else where somebody else got my stuff. I can't think of it at this particular time. I'm in Killmonger's Corner Journal twice, and then I got those contributed to 4 collective works, and then I have a children's book. I have Cocaine and Consciousness. I have the SARS book. I have Balad Al Sudan book. I'm forgetting something else. There's something else out there that I actually got, but I really ain't even got to get into all of that. But I have a body of work that is out there, a total of like 10 published books that's out there that I've contributed work in. And some of those I have multiple submissions in those. So I can extract those from those books and submit them, and I'll still be money, Reggie. Anyway, my training, Reggie, all I do is study methods, models, critical thinking, and source critique texts to improve my skill set to catch people like you out here pushing bull jive. I go for heads of snakes, not the body. My writings go beyond Voices of Fire. My writings are on many platforms and in books, sir. Something you still ain't got. You deflecting from this critique, but I'm about to turn it up a notch just because you trying to little boy me. You need to keep that energy for YouTubers. I am not a YouTuber. And then I say this again, and this is in. You ain't published with a single scholar, bro, not one. You on a journal by favor, my guy. Please save yourself the embarrassment. He responds, nothing proven. Go get a degree and work experience. He's in his feelings. He in his feelings heavy. So how do you know what I have or don't have, bro? Too many assumptions. Stop avoiding the fact that you slick try to finesse your way through an argument and use connections with friends to publish your little article. I can submit all my work to this journal and get it published. No real criteria or standard here. I'm being nice. I'm being nice. So here we are. We at part 2. We got your boy feeling real cocky. Feeling real cocky. Try to little boy me. I ain't going for it. See, I can dig a little bit deeper into your article because I still have it right here. I ain't got to play no games with you all the way. And I can start from the beginning. Not only do you have grammatical errors, but when I walk through your article, you also have some other errors called appealing to too many authorities in your article. All of this is smokescreen. You're hiding behind these people. Where is your work, Reggie? What does Reggie think? And where does Reggie get this from? When I asked you about your tools on Garfield's show, you couldn't even define the tools that you use to come to that. You basically asserted dictionary entries. Are you freaking kidding me? Dictionary entries? You don't even get all of those dictionary entries out of Vegas. And I knew that because you're not going to find all of those words there. So what tools? When I asked you what tools, you couldn't even name no tools. You didn't say Vegas dictionary. You didn't say other dictionaries that you had access to. You didn't say Budge. You didn't say none of these Egyptologists and anyone who's contributed work to the field to be able to extract dictionaries. You didn't say Waterbuck. You didn't say none of these. So I'm at a loss for what tools. I still didn't get an answer for that. And neither do we when you talk about your article. Here is what you say verbatim, Reggie. Right here. More specifically, the aim and objective of this article is to examine the origins of the ancient Egyptian word kemet, to highlight and establish its relationship to both the black cattle and the sacred black people that the ancients referred to. You didn't do that. Not only did you not do that, you didn't do this shit either. I will incorporate the following qualitative research methodologies: observations of ancient cultural and historical primary materials, and a narrative, and narrative discourse. See that typo already? And narrative discourse analysis of primary and secondary data sources by way of archival collection and study. You're having a linguistic argument, and then you try to turn it into a historical narrative, and you still fell short. So, Reggie, what is the meaning of kemet? This is your very first question in your research. Your second question is the term related to black and people at all? Your next question is, why is Kemet referred to as simply the black land by Western European scholars? And then, is the meaning of Kemet important to Pan-African thinking and Pan-Africanist thinking and scholarship? Those are 4 research questions. And then you begin your argument by hiding behind Sheikh Antijok, Theophilo Banga, Jacob Carruthers, Mbidi, Dr. Clark, you name drop so many people here that it's pathetic. And we don't get your work. Where is your work? If we take all the people out, if we take all the people out of your article, bro, where is your work? Hold on one second, y'all. All right, y'all. My bad. I'm sorry. But let's get to this work. So, Reggie, the case for Kemetic. Let's go back to your first research question. Your first research question is, what is the meaning of Kemetic? So we skip all of this because all of this really is, you know what I mean? You just trying to win people over. But when we get down to the crevice of the actual work, we're looking for the answer of the very first question. So now we get to the case of Kemetic. You say Diop's name as your argument on the subject of Kemetic. You use the symposium. You go through all of this. This is someone else's work. Then you refer to support Diop's position. Pictured here is the primary pyramid of Unas, the first recorded pyramid text where the king Unas uses Kim and Kemet. So you give us a transliteration and then a translation from other people. Look, because you source it. This is not Reggie's work. He doesn't start at the very top here and work his way this way, reading from right to left, vertically right to left. He's not reading that way, right? He begins right here where this glyph is. If y'all can see my cursor, right there, where he can get this right here, this word ma out. Because if you look right here, this is where you're going to get your ma. He goes over here and then he begins. Now, he uses someone else's translation that renders, for you are indeed the black ram, son of a black sheep. But later on in his argument, he says it here verbatim, son of a black sheep, because he's bringing it out. Later on, the son of a black sheep turns into son of the black sheep. So now you're specific. See, there's a difference between a black sheep as a reference and the black sheep as a, you know what I mean? You're direct now. This is the issue right here when you're trying to give us answer question number 1. My bad, went too far. Which is, what is the meaning of Kemet? This don't even answer question number 1. This don't. Because now you're trying to, you're talking about the role of syncretism, and now you're trying to use anthropomorphism and try to say all of these things right here, and you're really not making no strong argument. You just all over the place. Your work is sloppy. This is why other people was looking at it and was like, man, this ain't even no real work, bro. This is a waste of time. We still ain't got. We 5 pages in, 3 pages in after the question, 4 pages in after the question, and you still ain't answered what the word Kemet means at all. So when I look in this paragraph, which is your work, you don't answer it. You bring up Neb, I don't know what for. You talk about linguistics, I don't know what for. You saying all of this stuff. I ain't got to make it up. You still haven't answered the first question. So I'm going to stop because I don't want to continue to go on any further in this because you don't do no work. You're sloppy and you're all over the place. And then you got me. See, I was nice yesterday. You should have took the nice one yesterday and not this one today, because it sounds like you want some smoke. And I can write and tear this all the way up. I will do you like I did SETI. So in our conversation, I said, man, the people referring to the land, man, and the Nile was more important to them people than a sacred black bull. Because there wasn't no other type of bulls in the area. Only, Kemet only had the black bulls. The black bulls were sacred to Kemet. The other bulls didn't even matter. So let's go with the flow. Why would I say that the land was more fruitful to them? All right. I'm gonna come from the complete gods and goddesses of ancient Egypt, page 106, 107, and 108. Now, I'm really only going to read from page 108, but on 107, this is where Happy's entry is. And it tells you that the god Happy, to be distinguished from the son of Horus with the same name, was primarily identified by the Egyptians as the inundation of the Nile, its yearly flooding, which brought fertility to the land through widespread watering, and the new silt spread over the fields by the swollen river. Right? It goes on and it talks about some other stuff and the iconography and all of that. I don't want to get into that. But what it says on 108 is very important. It says, as far as worship, Happy was especially worshipped in areas where the Nile was particularly turbulent, such as the Gebel el Salasila, and near the supposed source of the Nile, where the god was believed to dwell in the cavern in the vicinity of Aswan. Although it was said of Happy that there he has no shrines, no portions, no service of his choice. The hymn to Happy. He was widely venerated outside his cult centers and frequently depicted in the temples of other deities. One text relating how 1,089 goats were sacrificed to Happy shows something of his importance. Many Egyptians celebrate the god's annual festival and compose hymns and paeans of praise to Happy. Now, I'm going to go to another text. This text is called The Egyptian Mythology, a Guide to the Gods and Goddesses and Traditions of Ancient Egypt. These are books that I'm actually providing for you. Get Great African Thinkers, Sheikh Anta Diop. Yep, I got that. I got that too, Asar. But I don't want to shoot from the hip there. I just want to kind of give people here. This too backs up the claim of the Happy Hymns, and the famous stele refers to in the coffin text. Reggie goes to the coffin text and talks about something, but also in the same coffin text, you'll find out about Happy and the hymns of Happy and so forth. So I just want to kind of bag that up because that gives you a lead to a primary text. Now, y'all can see my screen, right? Okay. So why the hell would Asar Imhotep, Wujawu, and Sanjeti propose the argument that Kemet means the riparian land or the riparian zone? Why would y'all think that? So here's a text, a book. It's called Water Resources and Inter-Riparian Relationships in the Nile Basin, the search for an integrative discourse. This book is written by Okbazghi Yohannes. All right. Now, it's referring to water resources and inter-riparian relationships in the Nile Basin is pretty much it. Okay. When these people first came in to discover the Nile, they found it to be fruitful. Why am I saying that the Nile was fruitful for the people? Well, I'm going to learn y'all something, but I'm going to hop out of this one because this one's just dealing primarily with the Nile, how it flows, its intentions. It's got some political stuff, some demographic, economic, hydrological, and it's got some stuff in this book. I'm showing y'all right now. It's got some stuff in this book that needs to be properly understood. The thing is I don't want to get y'all caught up in this particular book. I want to go somewhere else. Now, I might be nice and send it to a few of y'all who may be interested in this particular text. But there was also a submission on a site that I really don't like to use, which is ResearchGate. And they talk about, did the Nile River flow to the Gulf of Sirte during the late Miocene period? I don't even want to get into this because that's a whole nother argument and it takes away from where I'm going with it. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, every source that you see on the screen is in the description of the video. So if you want to go and extract a particular source and actually dig into what I'm referring to, you have the ability to be able to do that. It's in the description. And absolutely, then they can get the, a contribution to the meaning of the place name Kemet. And I'm going to drop the link to that book on here. Well, I done did it several times. I don't know why I ain't got it tagged on here. But you should know why they make their argument regarding the riparian zone. Now, it says facts about the ancient Egyptian Nile Delta. Let's get into this sciencing and see what's going on. This is written by Devon Sanders in 2018, as you can see on the screen. I don't hide nothing. It says the Nile Delta are known in antiquity, was a vital element of development of ancient Egyptian society and played an intrinsic part in their religion, culture, and day-to-day sustenance. I want to stop right there, ladies and gentlemen. I want y'all to think about what it just said in the very first paragraph. The Nile Delta area, known in antiquity, was a vital element of the development of ancient Egyptian society and played an intrinsic part in their religion, culture, and day-to-day sustenance. This is what makes the Nile so freaking important. He was like the Black Bull. They call themselves the Black Bull, the Black Bull, the bull. Shh.
I'm leveling Rufus now. No, that isn't my pet. Rufus is a very vibrant.
Hey, sorry about that. You know I can't stop the pop-ups. In addition to providing, in addition to providing fertile farmland, the Delta offered the ancient Egyptians many other valuable resources. Trying to pull the book up so I can drop it in the chat. Let me get the book put up. Now, secondly, deltas are characterized by a triangular formed where the mouth of the river empties into a large body of water. The sediments carried by the river current from the Ethiopian headwaters where the Nile originates are deposited on the delta, which allowed the ancient Egyptians to practice agriculture on a nutrient-rich and productive farmland. Marshes comprised areas of the delta not covered by silt, clay, or hard deposits. Y'all get that? This is what is important here. They got to drink. They got to wash their clothes. They got to do all kind of stuff. All of that. Oh, let me switch my account so I can get it to post. Yet and still, Reggie wants to give credence to a cow. Not taken away from the cow because, you know, it was revered. Everything around it was revered, but the Nile has paid more dividends, yo. Straight up and down. Way more dividends. Now, the ancient Greek historian Herodotus recorded 7 main distributaries around 484 to 424 BC. The distributary branches in order from east to west were the Plusiatic, the Tanetic, the Mendonesian, the Fatmetic, and the Sebenetic, Bolbetic, and Canopic. The network of these branches along the delta area was tangled and prone to change, and ancient map sources recorded anywhere from 3 to 16 main distributaries. Flora and fauna. The Nile Delta area in ancient Egypt provided a habitat for many types of plants and animal life. Some that no longer dwell there, Larger animals such as hippopotamuses and crocodiles live in the what they call this riparian areas and swamps. Fish abounded in the Nile's waters, including the Nile perch, tilapia, eels, catfish, and even sharks. Soft wood trees such as palm trees and sycamores grew along the water's edge, while reeds and papyrus grew in the swampier delta regions. Much of the flora and fauna on the ancient Nile delta disappeared, and Egyptians used the area for increasingly heavy agriculture and domestication. So what was their uses of the Nile? The Nile Delta features translated into many invaluable uses as a source of hunting, fishing, fertile land crops. The clay deposited by the Nile over the centers was used as raw materials for pottery. Most of the major Egyptian cities existed in close proximity to one of the major distributors of the Delta, including Alexandria and Hermopolis. Cities in the Delta served as ports of river traffic from upper as well as markets for traders entering ancient Egypt from the Mediterranean. Now, let me slow down here. Let me go over here. I don't want to get into this because I don't feel like logging in and really trying to get into this. But this source is in the actual chat. The Nile River Question and the Riparian States, Contextualizing Uganda's Foreign Policy Interests. You can read this is more current information regarding that, but it also tells you why they rely on it in that sense. And then you have another article that I put up in the Carnegie Museum of Natural History. I just wanted to highlight this particular area here. Every aspect of life in Egypt depended on the river. I'm going to say that again. This is why I highlighted it. Every aspect of life in Egypt depended on the river. The Nile provided food and resources, land for agriculture, a means of travel, and was critical in the transportation of materials for building projects and other large-scale endeavors. Measure that next to a sacred bull, ladies and gentlemen, which he said they named themselves after because of all this other stuff. They were bull occultish people. They didn't want to get into all this other stuff. Made no sense to them. Why would they do this, that, and the third? You know, you hear him say that over and over here. But I'm just letting y'all know that this river was very important to the Egyptians. To dismiss it as such, and the land that was near that makes absolutely no sense, and go directly to freaking cows or bulls. Now, there's an article that was published last year, July last year. Okay, it says why the Nile River was so important to ancient Egypt. I don't think that Reggie ever read this particular article at all. From nourishing agricultural soil to serving as a transportation route, the Nile was vital to ancient Egypt's civilization. I'm showing y'all this, but I'm not about to read all of this because I want y'all to know that if you really want to get into it, I have provided the sources for you. Now, to make it even better, you can get the contribution to the meaning of the place name Kemetic. It's going to deal with all this. I don't know why I got this up here, but this deal with calling it the riparian zone as well. So I want to get into the hymn of the Nile flood, right? This comes out of, you see me highlighted it here for you, Papyrus Chester Beatty V as a principal source. I just wanted to make sure that y'all have this because if you're like me, you want to go through and you want to come up with your own translation here regarding the flood. There's some other stuff that speaks to the actual flood. So the hymn to the flood, hail flood, emerging from the earth, arriving to bring Egypt to life, hidden of form, the darkness in the day. The one who follows sing to him as he waters the plants created by Ra to make every herd live, who satisfies the desert hills removed from the water. For it is his dew that descends from the sky. He, the beloved of Geb, controller of Nepri, the one who makes the crafts of Ptah, Vertin, Lord of fish, who allows the south marsh fowl without a bird failing from the heat, maker of barley, grower of emmer grain, creator of festivals of temples. When he delays, then noses are blocked. Everyone is orphaned. And if the offerings of the gods are distributed, then 1,000,000 men perish among mankind. If he is greedy, the whole land suffers. Great and small fall moaning. People are changed at his coming. Let me stop real quick. If he is greedy, the whole land suffers. Who is he? Happy. Not no bull, happy. Come on, man. Because the Nile was the main source of everything that they had going on. It was the centerpiece for having everything be what it is and what we've known of it. So never mind. Let me stop right here. I don't want to get too far into this. I'm just trying to dance or prance my way on through. But I lined up some sources for y'all there. Now I want to go back to Reggie's article real quick. I want to go down to a period where they deals with Westgar, and I'm here. And he goes through and he says what he says here. He's trying to make the argument for Kemetic. Here he has this translation. Y'all remember this. This is not his translations. As you can see, everything that he has numbered is from a source. This translation, he says, the first case is Westgar's papyrus, story of the Dindi, the magician. In this story, the text says the following. And then it goes into what it's being said. And then he gives us the translation. But not to a human being, O king, my lord. Surely it is not permitted to do such a thing to the noble cattle. In the second case, and then his assertion. The second case is the various statements in the pyramid text and other religious books of Kemet civilization that show secretism relationship between the people and their cult beliefs, such as the statement that the king's is the black ram, son of the black sheep. Son of a black sheep. Now, third, the case is King Keti's instructions to Marikar says, and then he goes on, provide for men the cattle of God, for he made heaven and earth at the desire. He suppressed the greed of the waters. He gave the breath of light to their noses and their likeness of him which issued from his flesh. He shines in the sky to benefit of the hearts. He has made herbs, cattle, and fish to nourish them. Who has made herbs, cattle, and fish? Who is referring to? So watch what he says. This statement from the Westgar papyrus, humans are the noble cattle. Where did you get the humans are the noble cattle in this transliteration and this translation? Where did you get that in the Westgar papyrus that humans are the noble cattle? And then he gives this assertion, iti a was en nebi. Now, if you go back and you look here, he is finessing us because watch what this translation says. Provide for men the cattle of God, for he made heaven and earth at their desire. He suppressed the greed of the waters. He gave the breath of light to their noses, for they are likenesses of him which issued from his flesh. He shines in the sky for the benefit of their hearts. He has made herbs, cattle, and fish to nourish them. This statement from the Westgar papyrus, humans are the noble cattle. The Unis papyrus, the king is the black ram born of the black bull. Now, here's the problem with this. He quotes it correctly here, and then he asserts it here. Same, look, he does this. He quotes it correctly here. If I take you back up the page, it's quoted correctly here. Then he does this. Same words, but he changes the A to a the. He's trying to make his point. And he did no work. He didn't transliterate or translate the text, right? He's using someone else's transliteration and translation to come up with the assertion that these people were referring to a noble cattle, and you don't see that come up. He has made herbs, cattle, and fish to nourish them. Someone made something to feed people. This is what is going on here in this text. Homage is being paid, or honor, or tribute is being paid here. Whatever the case may be, it ain't referring to no people. It is referring to a person that is doing great things for the people, and that is providing a way for them to survive. But he turns around and he says, this Papyrus humans are the noble cattle. King is the black ram born of the black sheep. And King Kemetic puts the perspective, the relationship of men and cattle, calling them the cattle of God. So now he's saying the people are the cattle of God. Provide for men, the cattle of God. No, it says provide for men the cattle of God. He make your head hurt. But he's saying this is his work. Then he goes and says, Dr. Jacob Carruthers. When he does this, Carruthers uses Petrie, and then he goes on this whole soliloquy about Carruthers. It's a long quote, direct quote from there. And then he asks the damn question about the Bible. Now, why am I doing all of this? He never answered what the first research question was. He went to the next word. We never, in his opening statement, we never got what the definition of Kemet meant. Even in dictionary entries, we didn't get a dictionary entry about the word Kemet from him at all in the first few pages of the first 6 pages of this article. If his first research question was about Kemet, he never defined it, but he making hella assertions, and he doing a whole bunch of shoo-shooing and look-a-hooing. Now he goes on over to Kemetic, and then he goes back to the UNESCO symposium. And this is where it gets tricky, because he uses an assertion out of the World of the Middle Kingdom, the chapter on scribes in the coffin text. And here's where it goes to here, Tintiu. Now, here, Tintiu are both people and in their animal form as the sacred cattle. So let's see what the text says. O Hathor, under her sycamores, it's messed up right here. Your sacred cattle I will eat of. This dude says that Tinti are both people and in their animal form as a sacred cattle. So this is when I said yesterday, so it's human sacrifice going on, because this text, somebody's talking about eating the sacred cows. It says, I will eat of. O Hathor, under her sycamores. Messed up. Your sacred cattle I will eat of. Living fowl and fish, being in the suit of Hathor, and of secret things, which are on the ground. A traverse and stride through the circuit. I traverse the firmament. I climb the sunlight in the suit of Hathor. Here is where Reggie's work should have been elaborated on this particular text, and he's breaking down what is going on in the text. Instead, he gets all the way away from that, pulls out this particular word, try to equate it to Kemetic, and then go on and assert that we will instantly see that they are the sacred black cattle of Apis and represented as human animal forms. Now, Asar, you still in the chat. Wujawu, I know you listening, you in the chat, but Don't they eat? Don't they eat the cattle at some point and pay homage to? Hold on, let me just get this out of here real quick. I will not really get it out of here, but let me assert something real quick. Where I'm at. After a certain amount of years, okay, according to the classical writers of Herodotus and Plutarch, when the Apis bull reached its 25th year, it was killed with the great ceremony. It was then embalmed and buried in a great granite sarcophagus, some weighing as much as 70 tons, in the vast subterranean galleries of the Serapeum at Saqqara. The funeral ceremonies were extensive, and it was said that in the late period, at the height of its worship, Egypt mourned for the deceased Apis as for the death of the pharaoh himself. The cow, which had produced the Apis bull, known as the Isis cow, was also taken to Memphis at the time of the bull's calf selection and also kept under special circumstances to be eventually buried in the Iseum, not too far from the Serapeum. So, when the Apis bull reached its 25th year, it was killed with a great ceremony. Reggie doesn't tell us that give us any indication of that. So if they killed the Apis bull in its 25th year, are you telling me that there was human sacrifice in ancient Egypt for all these kings or these people that call themselves the black cattle or the black bull? Is that what you're trying to refer here, Brother Reggie? Because you said that these people, this translated out to the black cattle. The black cattle was a reference to the black people. So in the 25th year of these people, when I guess they were all the same age, right? When the king turned, or whoever these people were that you said that this is referring to, got to their 25th, when they got to the age of 25, they were killed and then celebrated. Oh, okay, gotcha. He says, it is where the Pharaoh tries to chop the head of the prisoner, but a priest or somebody convinces him to use a duck instead. I forgot the name of the text. Gotcha. Now, here go that famous 049 glyph. I ain't gonna go all the way through this again, man. I'm not gonna have no long show today. But what I want to tell Reggie is this: just because you published your article somewhere doesn't mean your article is right. It doesn't make it right. It doesn't strengthen the argument. It doesn't do any of that at all. And you're being a little too disingenuous, and you're talking a little bit too much smack. And it's cool, you know what I'm saying? Because I could deal with the smack talking. I'm on that level with you, bro. But you really didn't do anything. And what I'm trying to point out to everybody who's paying attention to this is Reggie didn't do any work in this particular article. He only asserts things, and he doesn't show and prove what he's at. Let me go back. On what page do you answer your very first research question? What is the meaning of Kemet? Where's the answer to that question? Is the term related to black and people at all? Where's the answer to that question? You assert these things here, but you don't demonstrate these things here. You don't even say, you don't even use, right? When it says, for you are indeed the black ram, son of a black sheep, you don't even use black sheep, bro. You don't even come out and say son of a black sheep. You just removed that altogether and you just went with whatever you wanted to go with. That was your move. And I think that in itself, that was disingenuous because you was missing the mark. You was missing it hella good. Here's another issue that I actually have with your work. Not even talking about the grammatical errors, but I'm only trying to get back to the points that I was making yesterday. You didn't break this text down at all. You went with two people's translations. They translate this out, and I'm gonna go directly to it because there's a lot of people that didn't hear it yesterday. Then she placed me in Dendera, foremost inside the great royal place. I spent a long time there, a long period of years. There never came a bad thing therein, for I was a knower of things. Here she does not translate commit to you. This is your assertion. She said all of that and came up with a sensible translation, and you gonna say you ain't got no problem with nothing else outside the fact that she didn't translate commit to you. So then you go over to Marion Lynchman. She gives her assertion on the text. She says, then she placed me at Dendera in her mother's great cattle farm, rich in records, a foremost enterprise, the greatest estate of Upper Egypt. I have spent a long time there, a span of many years, without there being a fault of mine, for my competence was great. He says Merriam Lyncham does not translate commit to you to black cattle. Does not translate commit to you to black cattle farm. But this is what the context says. How, Reggie? Demonstrate that. If this is what the context is saying, why you didn't say that? Mary Lyncham comes out and she says, then she placed me at Dendera in her mother's great cattle farm, rich in records. You said that this whole cattle stuff is related to these other things, but you said now you got Miriam Lyncham. She didn't translate commit to you. You got what's the other lady name? Landgrova Grafova. She doesn't translate commit to you. So now you inserted two translations that don't support your argument. I can't keep going backwards, niggas, and you're gonna have to rewind and watch it over, or you're gonna have to go and read this article for yourself. So he uses two people translations, and we don't have his translation, and he has a problem with both of them. Why would you even put this in here if they don't translate the commit to you? How about you just render your transliteration and translation of the text? Therefore, you're guiding this conversation, showing your work instead of relying on other people's work. And only you arguing with your own sources because you don't even come back and try to do anything else. This is what you say. As in case for Tintiu, where the coffin text uses sacred cattle was talking about the sacred followers of Hathor. Here in this case, Marion Lynchman is also talking about sacred cattle. In this case, black cattle. How, Sway? How? When did it's sacred cattle, bro? It ain't black cattle. How do the sacred cattle become black cattle? Are you referring or inferring that sacred cattle or the word sacred means black? If that is what you're inferring, you don't make the argument for that. Nothing. Then you go on to say, we can see that commit to you can only mean those sacred black cattle. And the sacred black cattle are actually people who are followers of the black bull Apis. So everybody else in Kemet that don't follow the sacred black cattle, who the hell are they? Who are they? If they don't follow the cult, who they of Hathor, who are they? And how did you come to sacred cattle meaning sacred black cattle? You just inserted a whole nother word. You went from removing sacred to inserting black to bringing back sacred and putting black in there too. So now you got sacred black cattle. So now it just means sacred black cattle with no work demonstrated to show us exactly what's what, bro. Then you go on. Traditional Egyptologists can argue that Kemetic does not mean all black Egyptians, and that this is a special case of adherence of the Hep or other black bull deities. So there's other black bull deities, my guy? Huh? There's other black bull deities? So, ladies and gentlemen, this is where it gets tricky. When you're writing an article and submitting it in a peer-reviewed journal, this can't be in here at all. I'm going to give it to y'all in just a minute. He goes on to say traditional Egyptologists can argue that Kemetic does not mean all black Egyptians and that this is a special case of adherence of Hep or other black bull deities. However, they can be no argument, the grammatical errors is there, that they are African people of ancient Kemet civilization and there was no syncretism with African gods. Only publications such as Africology, the Journal of Pan-African Studies. Let me stop. Where is this published? Where is this published at? The Journal of Pan-African Studies. Look, Africology, the Journal of Pan-African Studies. They're supposed to be independent. Peer review. Experts. How does this get into the article? You got to explain that one to me, bro. This was predetermined, meaning you knew that this was being published in this article. Therefore, you knew that they wasn't going to be no problem with this. Your assertion here that this is the only publication, such as Africology, the Journal of Pan-African Studies, built by the Ma'akaru, true of voice, Itabari, can be continued by the Kemetic. You're saying that this place was the only place where you could make this argument. Y'all didn't catch that stuff. Y'all didn't catch that. Reggie is asserting right here to everybody, biggest day, that this journal was the only place where he could argue it safely. And his chest is sticking out and he talking about peer review. Yeah, yep. I know they both do. But here's the problem. Reggie, why would you assert in a peer-reviewed journal that this is the only place that you could argue for the Kemetic being meaning black Egyptians or black people or the sacred black cattle or the sacred black people? Y'all see, this is where the critical thinking come in. This is why the training and the studying and trying to realize what are people's methodologies, what are they really trying to argue overall, what's their voice saying, and all of this. This is where all of that training comes in at, man. All that annoying reading and trying to get better at looking at stuff and analyzing stuff and moving. See, I'm really at the root of the matter is I'm really trying to advance knowledge for me. You know what I'm saying? When I look at information, my job is to advance knowledge, meaning that I have to look at things differently than I used to before, and I even have to look at what I've done differently than I used to before, because I'm really serious about trying to properly edify people to get us to a point to where we're really trying to get to the truth of the matter on some of these on all of these arguments, and that we're not being biased. Reggie wrote a whole paper to support his confirmation bias. And in so doing, he even told you that this is the only place that he could publish this type of a paper. And this is supposed to be a highly touted, scholarly, peer-reviewed website. All that old cute shit that he kept on trying to throw out there at people. I hope the kids are asleep. Now, he moves on. And he goes from Kemetic back to, was Kem directly applied to the people of Kemet civilization? Another damn question. Yeah. Reggie is saying that Kemet means sacred black cattle, which also means sacred black people. Yeah, you're reading this correctly. This is why it's on the screen, so I ain't got to make no arguments. I can let Reggie make his own arguments. So we can continue on down this path, but he continues to go here. I told y'all that he would get into this, and he started naming how they designated the 4 calves are designated by colors, but it's really 7 calves. I don't know what he did with the other 3 and why he don't mention the other 3, but your boy Sean ain't gonna do y'all like that. Ah man, I think I lost my place. Hold on 1 second. Just a second. Apis. All right. The Apis bull, 6th century BC, stabbed to death by invading Persian king Cambyses. The king is said to have been driven mad as punishment for the sacrilegious act. Plutarch also referred to a legend about the slaughter of the Apis bull by Cambyses. He says that after the bull was killed, its corpse was thrown out of the temple. No carrion eaters would come near the holy animal except dogs. By devouring the body of the Apis bull, dogs lost their place of honor in Egyptian religion and became unclean animals. Yeah. So, in short, ladies and gentlemen, what I basically was just reading to you was something that Herodotus had mentioned about the Persian king who killed the Apis bull. And as you know, Reggie ain't telling us this. So if the Apis bull was, was all of that to people, was more important to people than the damn land or the river, why were they not doing their best job to do everything else? I mean, they paid tribute to the bull. They did certain things and all of that nature, but man, they ain't coming up with. When I look at how they define these different these different animals, it says the Apis was a bull kept at Memphis who was the most important of all the sacred animals. In life, it doesn't give a color. In life, the Apis bull was honored as the physical manifestation of Ptah. In death, he was worshipped as a form of Wasir. A festival called the Running of the Apis Bull is recorded as early as the first dynasty. By the late period, the Apis bull had become a kind of national mascot. When an Apis bull died, he was mourned as if he were Wasir himself and given an extravagant funeral. Priests searched for Egypt for a half calf with the right markings to be recognized as the new Apis bull. I'm going to say that again. When the Apis bull died, he was mourned as if he was Wasir himself and given an extravagant funeral. Priests searched Egypt for a calf with the right markings to be recognized as the new Apis. It wasn't just no black bull. They had to have the right markings. The mother of the chosen calf was given a name such as the One of Beset and honored as the manifestation of Isis. The new bull was crowned at full moon by the high priest of Ptah. Then he and his mother were installed in palatial quarters in the grounds of the temple of Ptah. The actions of the Apis bull were carefully watched because they were believed to predict the future. Yeah, that comes from Egyptian mythology, a guide to the gods, goddesses, and traditions of ancient Egypt. So let me go to the complete gods and goddesses of ancient Egypt text again, and let me get back into the bull a little bit. Now, we already confirmed that they killed a bull on the 25th or whatever. And then when the bull died, we just confirmed how they deified the bull. Apis is usually represented as a walking bull, which in post-New Kingdom times was depicted it with a sun disk. So when you start seeing the sun disk, that's New Kingdom times. There was only one bull representing Apis at a time, and it was chosen after its predecessors. Hold on. Its predecessor's death by means of its appearance. So I want to let everybody know that when our dear brother Reggie brings up the Apis or the HP, Apis, that's a correlation between the two that he's referring to. That it can't be people and it can't mean sacred people. Why? Because there was only one bull representing Apis at a time, and it was chosen after its predecessor's death by means of its appearance. Here he asserts that this stuff is meaning the sacred cow, black people, and all of that old stuff. Right? Hold up. Let me go back to where he's saying is at. Tinti, the black cattle, blah, blah, blah. The sacred black cattle are actually people who are followers of the black bull, Hep, or Apis. Right there. Right? So, there we go. There we go. There go that cry baby. There go that cry baby. You get the cry baby some tissue. Get the cry baby some tissue. That's fine. If you want to pull up some of our books, you can go to Same Tree Different Branch Publishing. I'm gonna drop the link to where you can get our books at, bro. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna drop the links for you. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Now there go a book. Yep. And here go another book. Here go another book. And if you hit those links right there, Reggie, you can get all of the, there'll be other places where you can hit next and get more books. I look forward to seeing your purchases, and I'll get your books out there to you ASAP. Yeah, get into our books. You know what I'm saying? Get into our books. Yeah, Reggie, here you go. Here go another book. Yeah, make sure you get this book too. Get all our books. I don't know where everybody else at, but you give all our books. So, moving on. He goes on to say, the ancient people of the entire Nile River exercised a culture based on cattle worship. Ancient Egypt is the daughter and granddaughter of a much more ancient African civilization, which were dependent on cattle. The ancient Kemetic civilization elevated the cattle to divine. See, this is what made me go ahead and tell people that the ancient people of the entire Nile River exercised the culture based on cattle worship. So when he asserts this, right, why did you disregard the fact that they also, the ancient people of the entire Nile Valley, exercised a proper understanding of how important the Nile was? The Nile was more important than the damn cow or cattle culture, because it provided for all their essential needs. No Nile, no needs. And then the cattle don't mean anything. But let's continue. He says, the ancient Kemet civilization elevated the cattle to divine. The color of the cattle was an important factor in the religion and culture of ancient African people And where is his source for this? The color of the cattle was an important factor in the religion and culture of ancient African people, and the Kem, black color, was paramount in distinguishing sacred bull. Reggie, you didn't even answer your first research question. We still ain't found what the hell Kemet means. We on page 12 and we still ain't answered the first research question. So I ain't trying to hear this bull junk that you kicking in the chat right now because your feelings hurt. Let me go ahead and drop this real work right here off for you. A contribution to the debate on the meaning of the place name Kemet. Some real scholarly work. Now, said before, in other words, arguments have been made since the rise of Europe as they encountered ancient Kemet civilization about who these people were. The ancient Kemet civilization's literature scores on the names of the Kem glyph embedded within them. The question is, does Kem as a color apply to the people? Now we just skipped all the other questions, and now we about you asking another question. You asked 4 questions at the beginning, 2 additional questions inside of the other 11 pages behind this, and now we're on another question. Why wasn't these questions in your at the beginning of your research, the reason why you're doing your research, in your introduction? And where the hell is your hypothesis? I still ain't seen your hypothesis yet. Now, because you was biased, bro. You ain't put no hypothesis in here. You argued your conclusion from beginning to end, and that is poor research methodology. You didn't properly answer any of your research questions. You didn't do no work. You relied on all others. Because remember, this is history. So this gives you an opportunity to do as much research as possible and then assert your information in there based on your research. But we keep on getting quotes from everybody else. You know how to break down the meta nature and you ain't do that. This ain't your work. Brave Europeans have rendered those names meaning nothing else but the black. So now we back to the black. Y'all remember that Smash brings up the black the other day. We didn't want to get into the black, right? We do want to kind of give Reggie some work here, but that's for another day. He says here the sacred black cattle he doesn't say is the equivalent to a sacred black man. He says here the sacred black cattle is equivalent to a sacred black man. How the hell did you get that? How? Let's go back and see how Reggie get this. He says Pepe Kem and several more. The names are largely connected to their belief systems, but are also connected to their color. Right? He makes the assertion. But look, if I go back before that, ladies and gentlemen, he does not provide any work to come up with this line right here. Here, the sacred black cattle is equivalent to a sacred black man. Where, Reggie? You're saying this right here, black cattle? You're saying this is black cattle and it's the equivalent to a black man. What the rest of the information that would support that? Where is it at? Where is it at, man? We've been looking for that joker for a while, bro. Where is it at? I've been looking for your work this whole article and I ain't got it yet. But you said that this was a scholarly, this is what a scholars publish. This is scholarly work. This everything. We got this, that, and the third. I can't even get a damn answer from your own research questions. And you telling me you trying to talk slick to me? You trying to talk slick to me, bro? You can't sun me, son. You can't sun me. I do my homework, bro. And you don't want me doing more homework. And I'm only saying what I'm saying right now because I'm logging off from work before I move forward. But we don't get anything from Reggie that tells us how the hell he came up to the conclusion that here the sacred black cattle is equivalent to the sacred to a sacred black man. In the context of this paper, the man is true of voice Itabari, and all men and women before, current and yet to be born, who are in this tradition. The first Kemet King connections. Open access. Your whole team is open access. Gotcha. Reggie. What published work do you have? Just this, right? This the only thing that you got, right? You ain't got no books, none of that. You ain't follow Dr. Ben. You ain't follow Dr. Clark, Dr. Leonard Jeffries. You ain't do none of that. All you did was go to the grocery store and food errand runs for them, right? Right? Or did you do some actual work? Nope, you didn't do any work because we got the video of Dr. Jeffries telling us what you was doing. We got it on video. So don't get slick at the mouth and don't come in the chat trying to talk crazy. Don't do that. Don't disrespect yourself because I'm petty. And I know how to be petty back and slick at the mouth back. Aaron boy. Put some respect on it. Now, as I was saying, before we kept on getting these tattoo tears in the chat, you don't provide the work to suffice that this meant that. Where's the work at? There's no work before it. There's no work after it. You just move right on along to the next argument. That's why I'm talking about your methodology, bro. And to answer the other brother question, Asar Khufu, listen to me. I ain't doing this. He doing it to himself because he started talking crazy to me. Just a second. All right. Okay. Now, I got to continue. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Here you argue about Norma's palette. You talk about the bull that shows up down here and then the ram heads up top. You mentioned that it's 3100 BCE artifact. You go on and then you assert that the figure labeled at the top is Norma palette. We see the horned bat is an ancient female cow deity. This may be, and you know, this means you got some uncertainty here. You say this may be bat or Hathor or Hathor. The figure of the female cow exists in the same place on both sides of the palette. The worship of cattle predates dynastic Kemet civilization. And then you proceed forward. Now, Reggie, since you're in the chat, I can ask you two questions that I have about the way you source and stuff. All of this right here that you're writing right here, you're sourcing the image with this source, right? And everything. So all of this right here is in regard to source 52, I'm thinking. And then from here on down here is for source 53. But your work here, you have a double space here, which meant that this should have came back up and N shouldn't be capitalized. It should be lowercase because this is all a running sentence. The worship of cattle predates dynastic Kemet civilization. In the following article entitled Tracing the Origins of Ancient Egyptian Cattle Cult, the author states the following. Studies of ancient Egyptian religion, blah, 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 blah. You're just using the source here. This is what I mean by your work sloppy as hell. But this is supposed to be a scholarly place, right? This is supposed to be published among scholars, scrutinized, all of these things, right? All of this is supposed to transpire on your work. You're published in a credential on a credentialed site, but you're not even honest about who got your shit published. So now you go on and you assert something here. More information on cattle worship, and then you give some additional sources. There's a lot of additional sources here, but none of this is your assertions. Then you say, in the Narmer palette, the king is represented as a bull. We see this directly in the figure labeled bottom. Here the king is a bull and seeing conquering the city. In the figure, the king is the bull, and the bull is the king. There is no separation in the minds of the first dynastic people of Kemet. The next figure we'll see here is King Narmer with 4 cows on his kilt. Then you show an image of the cows on the kilt. Then you go through and give us another long-ass quotation from the author regarding this that really is not supporting what the word Kemet, Kim, or Kemetiu means. None of this is justifying your answers because you haven't even answered none of your own research questions, and therefore we're fishing. We're fishing, bro. But here you go. The author's comments are extremely useful in that it gives a description of the artifacts and context of the ritual mind of the king of Kemet in relationships to the cult animals. This helps us with supporting the syncretism in the already mentioned text of a later King Unis when he says that he is the black ram, born of the black sheep. And you know damn well that ain't what that says. It don't say that. It don't say this. This is what it says, Reggie. Quote it correctly. Quote it correctly. Don't lie on the text. It says, 2 wild bulls. 4, you are indeed the black ram, comma, son of a black sheep, not the black sheep. You're all out of context here, bro. You can't change this word. You can't change this from a black sheep to the black sheep because now you're trying to be direct. I don't care nothing about your son being a PhD, bro. That don't mean nothing to me. Yes, Anusha, you asked him, have he ever said something? Okay, hold on. Let me put it to you again. Apparently, this ain't the first time Reggie try to sun me. I keep telling y'all that he did it live on Dagger Squad over there, and I let it slide. I argue with him for a little while, but I let it slide. But when he comes over here and he do this, he gonna get this work. He gonna get this work. When he come over here and he say this, your training is from ? Your writing published is a Voice of Fire, articles published in the print of Just Web. Sean, tell me a scholar you have published with. You are already on the Summer Jam screen. ? Then he goes on to say this. Sean, do what you want. Continue with your waste of time. You have no credentials and 12 years short from a journal article anywhere. Sean, I don't have to go back and forth with you. It's a waste of time. You simply don't matter in this field or any field. So I don't matter in this field or any field. Your assumptions are wrong. I'm not assuming anything. Your article is full of assumptions. Your article is full of assumptions. So I know what the hell I'm doing in this field because I can see it. I can see clearly now. You're asserting things. You see, you said, I'm assuming. You're asserting that this means the black sheep, and it don't. It means a black sheep, not specific. You trying to make something specific that's not and direct that ain't even specific or direct. Miss me with all of that, my guy. You're not gonna talk ish this time around, Reggie. You're gonna bow down, bro. Then you come up with the pottery. Next, examine the mace head of the king armor. We'll go here. As all artifacts of this first ritual. Hey, by the way, here's my other question to you. Where did you get this from right here? Where did you get this from? What a source at for this? Because this is copied and paste. Is this from 58 right here? The next artifact mentioned is the bull palette, 58. I see your images. These images come from Wiki, but where does this come from? Where did you get this? Because this ain't you right here. This is a direct quote from somewhere else because clearly in the figure below here, the king again and represented by the bull, this is a reference. So is 58 the reference for this? Hey, man, I'm not blocking you, bro. Ain't that deep. The hell we gonna block you for? You gonna get this work, Reggie. You asked me for it, bro. I don't want to hear that. You was trying to talk slick. Every time you try to get slick in the mouth, I'm gonna poke more holes. And I wasn't trying to do this to you, but you just kept on. You just try to get a little too slick in them comments.
Hold up! You gonna get this work? You gonna get this work, nigga? I killed you. Hold up! You gonna get this work?
So you gonna get this work, bro? It's just simple and plain. Now I can stop anytime that I feel the necessarily need to do so, but I just think that you're being disingenuous, and then you're trying to tout this peer review article. You're trying to tout this article. Oh, it's peer reviewed, or it's peer reviewed, but you don't explain the process, and you don't explain the scientific problems with peer review, and you don't even explain the relationship that you have with the people who you submitted this to, who approved your article to get published because you knew in the article that you wrote that it was already going to get published, my guy. So don't try to stick your chest out. Memphis is winning by 30 points right now. They paying Golden State back. And it's the third quarter, so hopefully they don't let Golden State hit a bunch of threes. Now, I still got questions. Because when I get all the way down to the meat and the potatoes of your argument, here's how you conclude. Here's your conclusion. Now, remember, at the beginning of your article, you asked 4 questions. Let me take it back. All right. Since you think I don't know nothing about methodology, or you think I don't know nothing about critical thinking, or you think I don't know how to look at or critique information properly, here's your first question. What is the meaning of the name Kemet? Is the term related to black people or black and people at all? And why is Kemet referred to as simply the black land by Western European scholars? Is the meaning of Kemet important to Pan-Africanist thinking and scholarship? So those are research questions that you were supposed to answer during the duration of this particular presentation. And then when you show evidence for it. And then when you get to your conclusion, in your conclusion, you should be answering those 4 research questions. Let's see if you answered the first research question by giving us a definition of what the word Kemet means. I have shown important statements of African on the Nile, which what is referred to here is Kemet civilization. These statements were analyzed in their context with syncretism. I have attempted to show that these African people deified themselves in god forms and in sacred animals to personify themselves. Kim was shown to be a direct description of a black person, and Kemet was shown to be a personification of a sacred black ram or cattle. It didn't say cattle, it said sheep. It didn't say cattle, it said sheep. Now, this examination is consistent with and affirms the position and arguments that both Sheikh Antiope and Theophilo Banger presented at the Cairo Symposium. We still haven't got your concluding answer on what the word Kemet meant. And to follow the other research questions that you had. So this tells me when you put this paper together, you already had your conclusion. You just had to fine tune what you wanted to say to spice it up for the website that was going to publish this. I'm not trying to steal your joy from having finally published something in your life, Reggie. That is not my intent. I wasn't trying to do that yesterday. If you watch what I watched, you see that I was being very careful with what I was saying and trying not to get into certain aspects of things. But because you was trying to be too sarcastic and smart with me, and then you start saying all these other things, I can show you now how effed up your methodology is. So let's continue. You begin to appeal to the authority of Theophilo Banger and Sheikh Antiope and the Cairo Symposium of UNESCO, Volume 2. And then you say, which is that Kemet can mean only one thing, Negro. How the hell could you come up with Kemet only mean one thing when they got several different dictionary entries of what the word Kemet means based on certain determinatives and glyph patterns? How could you do that? You didn't do any of the other work in this thing to even argue those things, bro. None of that. Then you says, I agree with other linguists such as Netanyahu. That's what you say. I agree with other linguists such as Netanyahu who have used linguistics to agree with Diop. So now it's confirmation bias. This is in your conclusion. Confirmation bias. Appeal to authority, appeal to a populace, and confirmation bias to support your argument. You can't conclude like that because you don't have the evidence to conclude in this manner. Their work is not your work. I'm going to say that again. Scholastically speaking, their work is not your work. Scholars want to hear from you, not other people. And you asserted other people into your conclusion, and that was faulty. Let me continue. See, I know research methodology. I agree with other linguists such as Netanyahu who have used linguistics to agree with Diop. And though not covered here, look, this shit ain't covered here. You admit it. And though not covered here, their overall point that other forms of Kemet written language, such as the Demotic and Coptic, continue as syncretism and meaning. To date, no peer-reviewed articles or studies have emerged that can negate the arguments presented here. This is in your conclusion, Reggie. Are you shitting me right now? Regarding the meaning of Kemet and Kemetiu as black people and or those blacks. I also want to state that the grapheme, which you didn't enter, but you're asserting these things in your conclusion. You can't do this. None of this information was argued. Now, I also want to state that the grapheme Kemet means more than Egyptian, but describes who they are through syncretism. That is to say, watch you appeal to authority again, that the grapheme Kemet comes out of a geopolitical situation that Mario Beatty described in the 2019 ASCAP conference. Dr. Mario Beatty's work wasn't even in your article or in your earlier on in your article and argued in it, but you asserted in your conclusion. That's highly disingenuous. Now, hopefully, here you go. Hopefully, so you're unsure of yourself. Hopefully, more data can be found, particularly on the 12th dynasty, that speaks directly to the naming of Kemet the grapheme. Though not directly covered, I disagree with an Outer Africa connection to the place name of Kemet. The civilization sat on a foundation and modified itself. Those that believe otherwise should present scientific evidence to refute this. And here is when your article becomes pseudo, because you assert in your conclusion that The civilization sat on a foundation and modified itself. Those that believe otherwise should present scientific evidence to refute this. You did not present not one time on any page in this article any scientific evidence to support your argument for Kemet, or Kemetic, meaning anything, and you had no linguistic work and no grammatical work. You sent us fishing like you did at the Cairo Symposium when I pulled up in Brooklyn and watched you. Do not play with my skills, my boy. I'm TTG, trained to go. Your assertions are disingenuous and Wujawu live. So let's go see what he's talking about.
I think oftentimes when people hear me and see me, they think that I'm a fool. They think that somehow or another I've lost my mind, that I'm not down with the in crowd. They've said that nobody would love me and that I'm an outcast. But let me say this here now. We can be clear about anything. Please let me be clear about this. And I pray that it's received and understood. I don't want to be one of you. I don't want to be one of you weak men, weak people.
For my brother,
I'd rather die. Death is welcome rather than to call myself you spineless black men.
Side high, I ain't your traditional. Rapper smoking medicinal, stayed in detention. Life is all about principles, cynical ass niggas. Sorry that I offended you. I bring something different while niggas sounding identical. I'd rather drown in a swimming pool than to let you imbeciles stop me from topping my pinnacle. Try me blocked by the genitals. Trust me, it's not intentional. It's the difference between a gangster and a criminal. Cause real gangsters can't do Breakfast Club interviews. A lot of you niggas don't own a business suit, but slave for every pair of Michael Jordan tennis shoe. But anywho, got your bitch walking around like she winning pool with no bottoms on, just the top of her swimming suit. What you gon' say when them niggas gon' try to get at you? Them in what army, or you just talking in general? Cause in the end, we all gon' die like them Seminoles, nigga. These niggas weak. I'm fucking up. These niggas weak. These niggas weak. I'm fucking up. These niggas weak.
When I look at the sorry state of black men in America today, the destruction of the family, the loss of integrity. When as a young boy, black shot down every day for years without stopping, when I look at what we are as black people, I'd rather be dead than to continue to live against such.
Y'all ain't trying to start a revolution. Y'all looking for a restitution. Niggas kill each other every day and ain't no evolution. My partner shot 100 niggas and it was never proven. We just labeled him a gangster and kept it moving. Let me give you the same outcome, separate shooting. A white man kill a black, we holler persecution. So instead of looting, it's time to find some better schooling. You can act like y'all don't understand when I'm elocuting. Did I stutter? I was never Reuben. Y'all ain't no Black Panthers. You wasn't there with Newton. You ain't Martin Martin. Try to better humans. Instead of all these rappers, we need some better students. It's time to rebuild the neighborhoods that we helped to ruin, and the NAACP, y'all need some help recruiting. Fuck a resolution, let's get some retribution. I feel like Malcolm X when he left the movement. These niggas weak. I'm fucking up, these niggas weak. These niggas weak. I'm fucking up, these niggas weak. Y'all know what it is, yeah, I said it, nigga. All you niggas laying up with these bitches with no condoms and shit. Having mistake babies and shit, leaving these women to motherfucking raise your kids by their motherfucking self. Yeah, my nigga, I said it. You don't like what's going on in the motherfucking America, leave this motherfucker. When they said we were free, my nigga, that mean we were free to go back where the fuck we came from, my nigga. Yeah, it's a whole motherfucking continent that belong to us, nigga. It's called Africa, motherfucker. What the fuck is y'all talking about? Y'all ain't trying to start no revolution. Fuck out of here.